So while Trump talks a big game on China and the Chinese government, it comes as somewhat of a surprise that after bipartisan consensus is reached in the House that we should in fact force TikTok out of the hands of Chinese ownership for national security reasons, Trump has reversed his stance. Now, in a recent post on Truth Social, the former president said, quote, TikTok is less of a danger to the USA than Meta, Facebook, which is a true enemy of the people. They spent $500 million against me and our great Republican Party, lockboxes and all, and should never have been allowed to do that. TikTok didn't. Like crooked Joe Biden, Facebook is a great threat to democracy, and it will only get bigger and stronger if TikTok is taken out. Do them both? And restrict the money allowed to be spent on politics and lockboxes by Meta/Facebook. Now, that $500 million number and the lockboxes thing is just a blatant lie, as he does. And as you know, Trump has said over and over, no one is tougher on China than me. And he's even accused President Biden of being beholden to the Chinese Communist Party. So why the recent flip? Why all of a sudden the supposed hawk on China, who claims that they are our biggest adversary on the world stage, all of a sudden is coming to their defense? This may have something to do with it.
According to the Times tonight, President Trump has a previously undisclosed bank account in China. The Trump business entity that holds that secret Chinese bank account is called Trump International Hotels Management. That entity, in turn, owns something called THC China Development. It's a Trump company with a Chinese bank account. That company, mysteriously, according to the Times, showed a huge spike in revenue out of the blue in 2017, right after Trump was sworn in as president. The revenue spike was, according to the Times, $17.5 million. That's more revenue that had come into that company in the previous 5 years combined. But Trump became president. All of a sudden, there was this huge new unexplained influx of money into that company with this Chinese bank account. It comes in from who knows where, but it goes out as cash into the president's pocket. After that $17.5 million windfall from nowhere once he became president, President Trump took that out as cash. He took $15.1 million of it out for himself in 2017 once he was president. The Times also reporting that FBI agents appeared at the offices of a company that was used as the business address for Chinese buyers who spent millions of dollars to buy 11 different Trump properties in one Trump hotel, also in 2017, the year he became president. The Times also reporting that, again, in 2017, right after he became president, the president found himself suddenly enriched. His tax documents apparently show that he made more than $5.5 million in profit, selling Jared and Ivanka's former penthouse apartment in New York to a person with high-level connections to the Chinese government. Person with high-level connections to the Chinese government paid enough for that apartment that the president himself cleared more than $5.5 million on the deal right after he became president. Remember when he was trying to run against, like, Beijing Biden? Remember that minute? He was trying to run against Biden as somehow being soft on China? And the Times tonight is reporting that President Trump took nearly $25 million cash from sources linked to China and the Chinese government, including a previously secret Chinese bank account, just in the first year he was in office as president.
Even his most ardent supporters at Fox News are in favor of the bipartisan bill.
The arguments against it got more, let's say, creative, I would say, as the House debate wore on.
If we wanted to be serious about stopping China, we would stop China from buying our U.S. farmland. We would raise up our American energy independence. And if we cared about Americans' data, then we would stop the sale of Americans' data universally, not just with China.
Okay, farmland. I'm losing that caboose of thought there. God bless her. Why is it so hard for some to grasp that China is a unique threat to the United States?
And even Steve Bannon attacked Trump for being against the bill. So why is Trump against it? Trump's business ties with China are extensive, and not just his, but his family's too. On March 29th, 2017, just 2 months after the president was inaugurated, Ivanka Trump became an official government employee, joining her husband, Jared Kushner, as an advisor to her father. Now, the day before that appointment, Ivanka applied for 17 new trademarks with the Chinese government. Now, how did that go? The Chinese government granted a total of 41 trademarks to companies linked to Ivanka Trump by April of 2019, and the trademarks she applied for after her father became president got approved 40% faster than the ones she requested before his victory in 2016. Now, it's important to remember the majority of Republicans are for this legislation. Again, it has bipartisan support, a true rarity at this day and age in politics. But Trump has made millions in China. His family does a lot of business in China, and his business interests in China exploded when he became president. And now he really needs money because he owes over $400 million in legal penalties. So earlier this month, Trump spoke at a conference for the influential conservative organization Club for Growth after a request by its main benefactor and Republican megadonor, Jeff Yass. And right after the event, like clockwork, Trump immediately ended his feud with both the Club for Growth and TikTok. Why? Well, Yass's firm notably has a stake in ByteDance, which owns TikTok. And how much is that stake worth? More than $20 billion. The Club for Growth, primarily backed by Yass and other influential donors, is now expected to spend millions in the 2024 cycle in support of Trump. And that could relieve the major financial burden on the former president, who owes close to $500 million in legal penalties. One of the biggest things that's often overlooked about the former president that was a huge deal at the time he was elected, but has kind of gotten lost in the fray as he floods the zone with insane news every day, is that he's still running his businesses. Remember all the calls by ethics watchdogs for him to divest from his businesses under the emoluments clause? Well, he still hasn't done that. While he was president, he was running a multinational business that was being paid by the largest regimes on earth, and he still has that business. Recall when the Saudis came to DC, they rented over 400 hotel rooms a night at his DC hotel. And what did they get in return? Trump overrode Congress and approved a weapons sale to Saudi Arabia that Congress opposed. This has always been the case for Trump. For Trump, it's always about him and his money and his power. He will stop at nothing for more of both, and that seems to include his willingness to sell out America's interests for his own private gain. That's what the classified documents case is about too. His apparent willingness to sell out American national security secrets to the country willing to pay the most money. So while the former president says this is somehow a free speech issue or about stopping Facebook from getting more power, the real answer is actually pretty simple. This is about more money and power, the ability for him to make money, cover his legal debts, and fund his campaign. We'll continue to keep you up to date on all the latest in Trump and Republicans' attempt to, frankly, sell this country out. So be sure to like, subscribe, and hit notifications as we have so much planned in this important year. With Really American, I'm Justin Horwitz. Thanks.